Are there any questions?
Yes, sir.
Riders, remember, at the end of your race, exit up at the press box. Unless you are racing in the following race, which is the Masters race.
I love this early start time.
You're not old enough to be a Master yet, Leo.
I will next week probably.
Just want to see.
All right, riders. We want you to ride fast. We want you to ride smart. We want you to ride safe. On the whistle.
Actually, just jam it.
Yeah, look, it's just a new bike. What in the world happened?
It's you know X-Plate. So they've been selling these things on bike. So I don't know. So I don't.
Slippery as fuck.
Oh, excuse the language there. That was Coach Willie Ross. He and I were chatting in the back there before the race, and actually foreshadowing.
Signature move.
Yep.
Foreshadowing some action down the road.
You got 10 seconds.
There's Kuya, talking to Kuya on the left. There's Coach Willie Ross on the right there, number 11, Meteor Rider. So Willie's been jumping into the 2-3 races. He's normally a pretty fierce Masters competitor. The Meteor guys race a lot in Masters races. But yeah, so this is the Cat 2-3 field, Mini Series 2 at Driveway. And we are in the 5th week of the 6-week mini series. And I had a 2nd place result and maybe one other top 10. But since then, things have not been going well. Well, I shouldn't say that. There haven't been any strong results. So we still have Evan Leclerc in first place. I think we have Grant Shackelford in second. I think Rolando from ATP's in third. I think we have Blouds in fourth. Dash O'Neill is up there in the top 5. Matt Kundo, top 5, top 6. So those are the guys to watch out for, with Evan being sort of the major guy out there with, I want to say, like 60 points. And the other guys are more between, I think 2nd place before this race was in the 30s. So we have a lot of ground to make up. This is Grand Prix loop. Clockwise, you watched last week. It's the same course, different direction. I prefer this direction because I like to turn right. For some reason, my body, whenever it's turning right, it feels more natural than turning left. Who knew? But the big news actually this race is I am on a new bike. And by the way, this race is pretty exciting. It's got breakaways, it's got late flyers, it's got sprints, it's got crashes, unfortunately. So stick around, especially the last, stick around. Of course, the last couple of laps are always fun. Grand Prix loop is about a 3 to 3.5 minutes at a reasonable pace, call it 26 and change, maybe 26 miles per hour. So not much wind today. The sky looks great in this picture. If we turn over to the right, as we turn to the right hand, look to the west, actually it still looks pretty good. But we were chasing the rain in these races. We're trying to get these in before the rain hits. Now this actually looks fine here. So yeah, new bike day. And my new bike, if I had any ability to edit these videos more than just kind of downloading them, putting the power data in, and then speaking over them live. I would put up a picture of the new bike, but I'm not quite there yet. But it's a Ridley Noah Fast, and we bought it from Bike Room. Just a little shout out to them. They have these pre-owned, these used bikes that are of former UCI team bikes. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're authenticated, right? So this one belonged to a guy. Oh geez, what's his first name? I should know this because I actually watch a lot of pro cycling, but this guy I wasn't as familiar with. So Amund Jansen. So he's an Uno X rider. I think just maybe retired, former Norwegian, either road race or time trial champion. And he was on Visma, Jumbo Visma Lisa bike for a while. So he's a taller guy. The Uno, and so actually the Uno X bikes are good for me, being a 6'3" or so. And I wanted, so my old bike was a Trek Amanda, and that's Trek's sort of, I guess, climbing frame. And I never paid much attention to. I always just thought, just get the carbon frame, put some good wheels on there, fast wheels, good, get the GP 5000 tires and kind of go on your way. So I'd never really been on a super aero bike setup. And Ridley Fast, or the Ridley Noah, is designed with what they call a progressive geometries. You guys may know all this stuff, but I was not aware of this. Shout out to Phil Price, who actually, if you want to buy a bike or put a bike together, Phil is the guy to go to. I'm telling you, and it's not just like he'll. So I'm kind of talking to Kuya about my new Ridley with the and by the way, so the thing is, if you're somebody who likes a customized bike, or you're really obsessive with new parts and paint jobs and things like that, I mean, obviously when you buy these bikes, they come with, they actually come with a rider's name on the side. This one has a Norwegian flag at one point, and of course, it's scratched up in places. The frame looks good, but some of the parts are scratched up and whatever. But it rides like a champ. But anyway, it's this progressive geometry, like a Factor 1. Some of you might know the Factor 1s. So I don't know everything about that, but Phil Bryce has been educating me on this, and he seemed to think he knows my riding style. And he said, with the way that you, one, struggle to kind of get low on the bike, and two, also just being more of less of a sprinter and more of a time trial rider, a little bit punchy at times. This bike might really do some good things for me, because it'll force me into a more aero position naturally. And so that was the idea here. I will say that whenever you buy these things, from overseas in Europe, I think there are some Uno X bikes available. Some of these Ridleys are available now on Bike Room, and it'll quote you $4,200, but then you've got to pay another $1,000 for the import fees. At least I did. They're saying import duty, so just factor that into your equation. Look at this, we got Ben Soder out of this. Good friend Ben. Boy, he might get a good result tonight. Thinking he's looking good. So, what's been going on in this race? I've been talking about the bikes. The race has been, looks pretty fast so far. I mean, this was just stretched out here, so we're certainly not hanging around. I don't really see any big moves at this point. When you guys have been watching the videos, which I have, I don't see anybody off the ground. But people were trying their normal stuff. And for me, what is the plan? So my plan actually today was to take it easy in the first couple laps because of the new bike. So I wanted to make sure that anything unexpected, because I rode it the day before, just around the neighborhood, but that's nothing compared to this. So taking it around the corners, just feeling it out. And I have to say that it felt great. It felt great. Now I do have the same wheels and tires, of course, that I use on my Trek, so that was fine. But this felt great in a couple ways. Well, stem on this thing is a 160, which I was worried about, and I was definitely, a little bit farther forward. So I was worried that I was going to have some back pain, or when you stretch your back a little bit too much. I ended up not feeling anything like that. So that felt good. And what else? What else did I notice? It felt snappy to me. And then the thing that I noticed the most with this bike, and it was, I don't know if there was a little bit of a anticipatory sort of placebo effect here, and we'll see whenever I do other races, but I really felt like it was noticeable how how much faster I was at fast speeds, meaning when we're accelerated or when we go down the hill as we're coming. So we're kind of accelerating here, then getting up to speed. I'm doing, 100, 200 watts, at times here. I guess it's weird, but I feel like with my if I had my Trek kind of going around the corner, I would have been on the gas more consistently, 300-400 watts, and I just felt myself kind of at times getting ready or doing that, and then I'd be closing the gap to the guy in front of me a lot faster than I realized. So here, this is a great example. I'm totally off the gas here for a long time. This is ridiculously long. I feel like I never did this with my Trek. And again, look, I might be sort of projecting, oh, new bike, look how great it is. But I really felt like there was something there as far as just being more aero and being so much more efficient, putting in less effort. I mean, it did feel like that. So yeah, so now we're 12 minutes into this race, and I'm feeling comfortable around the corners, and I'm actually starting to feel really interested to see how this thing goes with whenever I'm out in the wind. So I'm kind of getting excited, okay, if you watch this channel, I do like to find the breakaway, and I'm really excited to see, well, if I can get this bike in a breakaway, how fast is it going to be? Am I going to be pleasantly surprised at sort of how it breaks through the wind? So here's the first little move. Looks like we had David Wild in that one. We have Oscar from Super Squadron, 232, I think. This might be Zach Levitt, not the guy right in front of me, but the guy in the black in front of him. This guy in front of me, I forget exactly who you are. I can't see your number. I think this is a green lap. So I was trying to be attentive. Yeah, I have a feeling it wasn't green. Okay, so a little move to the outside there, and if it is a free lap, we may have a little bit of a gap here, something. Which, if you look over to the right across the field, you can't see anybody, so that means we don't actually have a gap. But Oscar from Squadra is still out here, and I know he's a strong rider, and I know he's got a strong teammate, in actually two strong teammates in this race, and David Wild, and I think there's another one. Is his name Matt? I'm not as familiar with Matt. I don't know why I called him Big Dog Berries. Maybe just irony. He's actually a smaller rider, but he's strong. Very strong, like a pit bull. So yeah, so this is kind of one of the things I've been talking about. So you've been to driveway, you know that's a downhill section, and when you're a breakaway rider, or whatever you are, right? So I think that's Rolando rolling through there. Do we have a gap? Maybe a little gap. Oscar's still working, but I think I was looking back there, and I don't think I look like the field was behind us. That was a nice little leg opener for me. Not super hard. And let's see what happens here. So the field is stretched out behind me. I mean, everybody's attached. Oh, okay. Okay, so there. I think maybe whoever was on my wheel dropped it. So I think I actually just rolled off the front guard, which is my favorite kind of attack. You guys should try it. Just get on the front, and somebody and all of a sudden you have a gap. It's beautiful. You don't have to just do 1,200 watts to get 2 seconds. They just give it to you for free. So I think that's what's happening here. So I'm feeling great here because I'm like, oh my god, I must be going so fast with this new bike. Of course, I can't tell, right? I mean, I don't even have I should probably put my speed on my hammerhead, but I really just have like power and cadence. I don't have speed. I should change that, but you can't really tell until after the race, like, if you really were consistently going faster. And I still have to sort of dig into the data more, but I actually think that this bike is like significantly faster. I'm just gonna say it. Like, I think this thing is giving me, I mean, dare I say, half a mile per hour. Kind of at speed, like at threshold power. Okay, so there is one guy on my wheel, and I foreshadowed his name earlier. It's Coach Willie Ross. And so I just looked back for him to pull through there, and he shouted no, but we had a gap. So all good. Let's keep pushing this thing. See what we can do here. So this right here, I started to talk about this before. This is the area where I feel like an aero bike helps the most. So you got like a pedaling downhill where, it's easy. There we go. Okay. So me and Willie, two up break. I love it. Let's go. Let's go. 25 minutes left in this race, easy. Meaning that we'll be in this break for almost 30 minutes. So let's see if we can do it. But Willie's a super strong rider. You can see he's already taken a nice long pull here. And I know that he will work himself. He will work himself in this breakaway. And of course, I'm totally committed. So we're both totally committed here. But I keep getting back to that sort of that arrow. You know, I find so where does arrow help you the most? It's at high speeds, and it's on those like sort of, to me, those like sort of false flat downhills, pedaling downhills, where you can easily find yourself doing like, you know, a couple hundred more watts than you otherwise would if you were in a more aero position or you had a faster bike or whatever. Like if you can go downhill at, you know, 32, 33, 34, 35 miles an hour in that fast section of this course without spiking your watts at, you know, 400, which I felt like is what I had to do before. It's like if I wanted to sort of get up to that 35, say 34, 35, I was having to pedal pretty hard for like sort of minimal gains, right? You're gaining, you know, an extra mile per hour or two for that section or 3, but you're putting out a lot of watts, whereas if you can just cruise through it at 150 watts, that's your recovery, right? That's your recovery time in a breakaway, and you're not potentially getting a double speed. So enough about that, but anyway, that's how I'm kind of thinking about the benefits of this bike. A little bit comfortable on that corner for some reason. Willie's a good bike handler, so I'm not sure why that was so weird. So you can see the field over to the right, if you rewind it a little bit. So they were, you know, as, kind of coming through the start finish as we were exiting the turn. I always say that's a 15 seconds max, but depending on where they are in that stretch, you know. We had 10 seconds. I would say probably 10 to 15 based on what I saw there. It's not a lot with guys. Yeah, and I actually don't like that. That exchange there is not where you want to exchange, in my opinion. You want to exchange, you know, on the flat before that, like, you know, 5-10 seconds before you get into the downhill, because when you exchange on that corner in the downhill, like you're losing momentum that you would otherwise get for free if you were already 2 up in a line going down. My opinion, you can take it for what it's worth, but if we're in a breakaway together, I'd rather not exchange at that point. I'd rather exchange on the upper bowl somewhere around the corner, yeah, around one of the turns up there in the upper bowl. Let's do that rather than on the downhill. Because just think about it, you know, you're if there are 2 of you in a line going down the hill, you know, heading into the downhill portion and going down, like it's very easy to the guy in front, because like when I passed him going into the downhill, I'm worried that if I spike my power, you know, I want to spike my power to get the speed up, but he's just pulled off, so I don't want to lose him by spiking my power there. I don't want to make him work extra hard. So it's just, there are like a couple issues there. But again, these are like really good pools. Like I know that I'm going to do 60% of the work in this breakaway, at least, probably, and I'm happy to do that. And it might, I don't know, I haven't done the timing, but even if it's like 70-30 or something like that, like a 2-to-1 sort of deal, that's okay. The legs are really good today. There were some of my better numbers in this race of the year. I think I did 10 minutes at like 395 and 20 minutes at 375. Some of that is excitement with the new bike and everything. definitely was, as we get farther into the breakaway, started to feel, I wasn't able to do like, let's call it a 450 plus watt pool. It was closer to 400. But yeah, see, let's exchange here. So, see what I'm talking about? So now we exchange here. This will be a great teaching moment for all of you fledgling bike racers. But, so we exchanged already up there. So we're in a nice line, coming to the downhill, and as long as Willie doesn't pull off, so there's no worry about an exchange there. So now he's going down the hill. 32. Oh, I forgot he did that. I don't know what that meant. I think maybe he was just so I kind of thought that he was saying, oh, he was dying and this was like his final pull, but he might have just been saying like, I feel good, stay on my wheel. And it turns out that's actually what I think. I didn't ask about him afterward. Maybe you guys know it. If anybody knows, tell me in the comments. Like, what was he doing there? But on that downhill, you can see the speed was like consistently 32, 33, and there was no spike in power at all. It was super easy for me. Willie's, I think, a pretty aero guy, so that was a good pull. That was a really good pull for him. That was not an easy pull for him, I'm sure. But we kept our speed up. And so now that he does that really long pull, I think I am able to do this is a pretty significant pull here at pretty good watts. Keep the speed high. And again, the field is, they're never more than 15 seconds behind here. But yeah, here we are, keeping it 29. If you can keep your speed 28, 29, 30, 30 is obviously difficult. But in this lower bowl, this flat portion, if you're doing 29, you can do some damage to the field. So let's, as we go around the corner, the start finish, and then around that corner, let's look over to the right across the field and see what we have going on. So what, 27 minutes in the race, 28, 27. Willie's been getting some good results. He does the Masters racers often. So he'll do this and the Masters race. And he's got top 3s, top 5s. I mean, okay. Oh wow, like I didn't even see that much over to the right there. So maybe there was like the field is quite close at this point. You see Willie accelerating. Kind of does it this again. This is like a very significant pull. He came up on top. He came over the top. See, I'm trying to get past him before the downhill. Sorry, I keep talking about this. It's not that big of a deal, but anyway. Yeah, so I'm doing, see, that's a 32, 33, and I'm recovering here. I'm able to recover and get up to 33 miles an hour at like 250 watts. That's something that I feel like I couldn't do on my other bike. Like, I don't think I would have gone that fast. And then it comes into the flat, and I'll be able to then put that power down for longer after that recovery. So, anyway. Okay. So you can probably hear that. So I hear some shouting behind me. And, yeah, a couple of friends have bridged up to the breakaway. And I think when I look back there, we had a few guys bridge up, and then we had the field. Here we have Wilson from Moon Tower 233. We have this guy 269 from Pilot Crown. And his name is Eoff? Eoff? Is that a misprint? Eoff? E-O-F-F? Colby. Wait, no. His first name might be Colby. Oh, okay, yeah. His last name's Eoff. Sorry, but... So, Colby. Awesome. So we had Wilson, we had Colby, and then Colby does this. I remember this. He's doing this there, and I'm like looking to the right. I'm like, oh, he's got to pull off soon, you know? Because he just bridged. He was like, no, I'm good. I'm like, all right, Colby, let's go. Nice. I love that pool. Good job. I think I told him nice pool there. Somebody's shouting behind. You know, we don't have much of a gap here. I'm not sure who's doing the shouting. What's going on there? But yeah, I had legs today. So I was like, you know, this just felt like a continuation of the first breakaway with Willie. Willie is still in this. And again, you can't even see the field over to the right, which means they're very close. But I still think this group had a bit of a gap. It was 2 seconds, 3 seconds, but you know, a gap's a gap. Here's Wilson in front of me. It's looking good. Looks very smooth on the bike. I think he looks very smooth. Sorry, we've got some birds chirping in the back. Oh, I forgot I said that. Don't look back. Because they were close. They were close. We don't have to look back. If they catch us, they catch us. Yeah, I'm putting it. This is a pretty good dig here. Trying to keep the speed high. I want to re-extend this. I want this to be a situation where the field like almost catches. We have a couple guys bridge, but then we re-extend. But we have a new entrant to the arena. A couple new ones. So this guy in front of me is Zach Levitt. I've seen some of your Instagram reels and stuff. He does some good recaps. So I don't know if he'll do one for this race. But yeah, that's Zach Levitt. I think his name is. And I noticed he has his phone in his back too. I was kind of reading his text messages. Just kidding. Oh, and it looks like we have a different Super Squadron rider too. I think this is Matt. And then this guy, 261. Oh yeah, wait. So let's see what happens here. Okay. So Willie has me on the back and says, relatively quietly to me, right before that hill, he's like, get ready or something. You can probably hear it if you he rewinded. So he was very clearly going to attack, because I think he actually said, I think he said get ready for the counterattack. So I wasn't sure if he was going to do it, or if he thought somebody was going to come on top of us, and so that we should be ready to jump on the wheels, because the field was like right there. But he decided to go. It actually was kind of funny because like you could see he like went over the, not the barrier, but the curb there, red and white portion. So he really wanted to do that. But so I was prepared, and so here we go. Let's again. I think again we have like 3 seconds, 2 seconds. At least I hope we did. I hope we're not just out here pulling for pulling. Okay, now more shouting behind, so it looks like somebody else is now involved here. So now I'm off the gas. 0 watts in my aero tuck. Not super aero, right? But and then I see David Wild, and this is Zach again. Okay. This can work too. I always like a Captain Wild sighting. So I felt like I was in these like rotating breakaways. People would bridge. But I also want to say I was finally starting to feel it a little bit. Maybe not. It's still going. Oh, this was a nice pull from Zach. I think I remember this. Oh, well, yeah, pretty good. I mean, he accelerated. I think that's why I think we just didn't. That was our last gasp at having a gap here. So the field's to our right. And there goes Grant. And that is from Grant from Driveway in that gray and orange kit. Just beautifully timed moved. That is exactly what you want to do in that situation. You've had a relatively fast race that's been catalyzed by breakaway, where not just one breakaway, but like sort of multiple versions of a breakaway with people bridging up over the laps, the prior 2 laps or so. So you know that anybody who's kind of bridged or been in the breakaway is tired, and that's been fast. So the field is, and you can see him up there now. He's kind of, he's got a clear gap there. Let's look across to the right. Let's see if we can find out how far he is already. There he is by himself. Okay, so he's exiting the corner there, and I'm going to start finish. So he's probably 15 seconds left. I don't know, wait, 12 seconds ahead of me. And he's got some chasers, but they aren't connected. And Grant, you better get on his wheel, because he has a lot of power. That's a guy who can do, 400 watts for many minutes, and that's what he's doing here. So we're 2 to go. Right? 2 to go? Yeah, it's got to be. We're 2 to go here. I'm following Chris Tolley around. He's not officially in the race, but he's got the Marshall jacket on, because I think he was checking the weather radar. He knew that the P12 race might not quite make it. But anyway, Grant's out front. So he's got to do, with that attack, he's got to do basically like a 9-minute effort, something like that, to stay in front, which is not easy. You got to really be going. But the field has been stretched. for a lot of this race. This is not the most attritional course. As you can see, the field is still relatively large. It's not like we're down to 15 guys. How many guys do we have in here? I mean, it's clearly over 20. I mean, we may even still have almost 30. So, we're a lap and a half to go here. And if I'm looking at this group, I'm thinking there are a couple of ATP riders. There are a couple of Night Owls. Ben Soder, Matt, Kundo. Those are the guys where there are a couple of Moon Tower guys, but Wilson was bridging in the break. And then I guess 3 Super Squadra guys. So I would have thought that one of Squadra, ATP, and or one of Matt or Ben on Night Owls would have taken this up and tried to keep the speed high, because we're not super high here, and Grant is riding away with the victory. That's not Grant there. Grant is way out front. Right there, he's already going through start finish. All right, so watch here. Pay attention. This is where we have a little crash, and it's not pretty. Oh. And I think it was, I hate to see that. That looked like Edward from ATP, maybe. And it was he in second wheel? I mean, he was kind of at the front of the field there. I didn't realize it was so far forward. Now, we weren't at super high speed there. I hope everybody's okay. Because it did, So that was the one benefit of us not being super fast there, is that, we didn't have guys crashing at 30 miles an hour. Although, you could argue that had it been stretched out and fast, there wouldn't have been a crash. Because I've seen that happen quite a bit. Of course, many of you probably seen the same thing. Whenever the field slows down, it actually tends to get more dangerous in those moments. So anyway, I mean, we're not going fast enough. This is the last lap, and I guess we're at 34 here, but you can see it's not super lined out. We were slowed down by the crash, for sure. We were slowed down by, just on that upper bowl. Nobody's driving this. What are we doing? Now, of course, I'm not doing anything either.
Hey, follow me. Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I knew that this was going to be questionable. So Willie turns around and says, "Hey, follow me." Okay, so he's going to give me a lead out. Great. Not anything wrong with this from Willie's perspective. He's good at this thing. He's used to it. He's used to maneuvering through the pack. Great bike handler. Great acceleration. If anything, I should be giving him a lead out. But we were in the break together. I and we were talking before the race, and I'm like, whatever, let's try it. All right, so he goes. All right. And it looks like for a second, this could be really good. And then I get scared. For me to keep going and stay on that wheel, I would have had to have the bike almost on the curb there in the grass, which many of you are comfortable with. I'm not comfortable with. But anyway, if we look ahead here, Ben Soder is just took off in a blue jersey, Night Owls. So he takes off from way back here, and he's got Rolando from ATP on his wheel, and they are blowing the rest of the field away for the field sprint. But then Grant, there he is. Look, he's still comfortable. He's able to roll it in. I don't know if you can see it, but he was able to kind of slow roll it in for the victory. Rolando in second place. Ben in third place. Congratulations, top 3. Just very strong move by Grant. And yes, had we had more of a chase, had one or two of those teams put something on the front, had I got on the front, we probably could have chased that back, because he ends up winning by 5 seconds or so. But or had there not been a crash. But that's what happens whenever you do those late attacks. Is if there are a combination of things that go against you, or go against the field, then you're gonna win. So anyway, great move by Grant. And I do have a video of the Masters race, just the last 10 minutes, that I'll post. You guys can check that out. Unfortunately, the rain did hit the P12, so we didn't get a P12. So that was kind of a bummer. Hopefully next week we'll get that one. So, cheers.